Welcome, my beautiful friends. It is Monday yet again, and here we are. And the best part, I got a little distracted this morning. The stars are back in the, well, it's not, they never left the sky. The clouds have moved. So the stars are back. And I'm just watching them. But there's that question, are you worthy? Oh, listen, we walk around with that question, don't we? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? It's not about whether you are worthy and it's not about whether you are deserving. It really isn't about that. Because do you know, Wisdom Almighty, do you know who determines what something is worth? Well, let's talk about the quote unquote real world. We always tend to hear, well, let's see what the market dictates. Let's see what the market can bear. You know what I'm saying? We talk about investments and which stock is worth more. Who do you think determines the value or the worth of what is being sold? The person who's selling it. The person who is selling it determines the worth. And then the people, you, me, we either confirm that they are correct by agreeing to purchase it, or we don't purchase it, and then the person who set the worth will either stay as they are or they will lower their value. So the question again is, are you worthy? Who determines that worth? The person with the product. And then the people who are interacting with that product will either confirm or reject the supposed value, the supposed worth. So why did I say it again? Because you are the product. I hate to say that. We're not products as in things to be bought and sold. You are the product because of your very existence. You have worth and value. Mm? There's a value that you inherently come with. Just you, just me. There's that value we inherently come with. Now, here's where sometimes things become a little corrupted. We have parents, whether biological or adoptive, but we have parents, lineage. And a lot of what we feel we are worth or value comes from what we have heard about ourselves. Now, hear it. Our perceived worth and value comes from what we have heard about ourselves. It comes from what we have heard about ourselves. What you've heard about yourself, that came from the outside. Somebody put a value on you. Hmm? Somebody put a value on you. And we have historical evidence, don't we? Of someone putting a value on another human being. Hmm? You know that MasterCard commercial? Some things are priceless. That would be you. You're priceless, but worth so much. You are not worth what your mother says you're worth. Listen, she may have loved you, she may not have loved you. Both of those things are irrelevant. She does not determine your worth or your value. Neither does your daddy. Whether he stayed in your life or whether he left does not determine your worth. Who sets the worth of a product? The person with the product. Who are you? The product. and the person. Remember, not product as in commodity to be bought or sold. And you know history. We have some cases where people were bought and sold and valued, touchy, but we're not going to go there. You see, all of those things came from the outside. And here's what happens to us. We believe what an outside source says we are worth. Well, if we did not, you think we would struggle as much as we did mentally? Think about it. When you're doing business, you have there's a formula called a break-even analysis, meaning you factor in all of your costs to produce something. Every single cost associated with creating an item. So cover your overhead, blah, blah, blah. Your rents, your website, all those things you factor in. And then you put your profit on the top of that. What do you want to make? After you've paid everything, how much do you want to make? See, this is how you determine what your item is worth. So it doesn't matter where you turn. The value that something holds is self-determined. You get to decide what you are worth. Now, if you do not know the principles, you would give in to what this person said you're worth. You'd give in to what that person said you're worth, and you would say, well, yes, I agree with you. Oh, we don't say I agree like that, do we? You know how we say we agree? We agree by going along with what they say. Whether you, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You can't tell me. You can't tell me what I'm worth. But they planted the seed and you agreed with it. Not with words, but by your continual denial. And it is not denial that will determine the value. You have to wholeheartedly reject it. But how do you reject it? By instilling your own value. Many of us are walking around in agreement with poor value of ourselves. Ooh, I'm the first to raise my hand. Don't get this twisted. Because of the opinion of someone else. Ah, baby, yes. Right? This is what I'm trying to say to you this morning. Your worth is determined by you. However, it is influenced by what you have heard growing up. You see, whether you believe in the Bible or not is irrelevant. I'm going to show you the principle of correspondence with this scripture. Train up a child in the way it should go, and it will not depart from it. So if you train up your child under the umbrella of browbeating them and telling them they're not worthy, they run with that. Dr. Bruce Lipton calls it programming. Training, you see? So it's not that you want to resist what they said to you. They planted the seed. But here is where now your freedom lies. I know that scripture says, train up a child in the way it should go and it will not depart from it. They tell you, give them a child between 0 and 7 and raise them Catholic. They'll be Catholic for life. But there's another scripture that will save you. Remember, this has nothing to do with whether you believe in Jesus or not. I'm not about that life. We're not here to argue. I am showing you the principles of correspondence, that if you would apply them, you will change your life and not be bound by low worth ever again. How do you do it? Here's that scripture: be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What part of the child did you train? Their mind. And how will you change? By transforming the mind. How does one transform the mind? You identify what it is you say about yourself. How do you identify what you say about yourself? I am. That is how you identify what you believe about yourself, what your worth is. You say, I am. But Angela, I don't always say I am. And you are correct. You don't always say I am. You imply I am. You see, we keep thinking we have to speak to communicate. You don't have to say a word to communicate. You walk into a room with your shoulders hunched over and you don't make eye contact. You are telling everybody who you say you are. And you haven't opened your mouth to say one word. But you and we picked up this influence as to who we say we are. I am. We picked it up because we were trained. Train up a child in the way it should go, and it will not depart from it. Do you know why it won't depart from it? Because we did not learn to renew our minds. The principles, now, here's why the principle of vibration now is a very beautiful principle. The law of vibration tells you that everything moves. Nothing remains the same because it cannot stand still. To remain the same is to stand still, and you cannot break the law of vibration, not even if you tried. So I'm going to tell you now, don't frustrate yourself by trying to remain still. When I say still, I mean not change. Because we do have stillness, don't we? We can sit as still as statues, but even then the heart beats. The lungs inhale, exhale. Muscles twitch. You don't see them sometimes. That's not what is meant by stillness. To say that nothing stands still, it means it will not remain a seed. You can have a seed bank. They're not just sitting there in seed form. They are sitting there with the potential of being planted. Listen to it. So you and I learned how to be a particular way. We learned how to set our value by basing it on somebody else's opinion. That's what we learned how to do. Every single one of us learned how to do it. You think one of us is exempt? Hmm? Donald Trump learned how to be who he is. Mm. Oh, don't say his name, Angela. At least not 3 times. Sorry. Doesn't matter which person you want to call their name. They learned the exact same thing as you. Now, here's the kicker. Whether you like them or you don't like them is irrelevant. We can learn from everywhere. If someone gets up and they have the audacity to renew their minds, well, kudos to you, right? You have the audacity to renew your mind. Well, then you deserve everything you get because of your audacity to renew your mind. But if you say, I can't, uh, I've been hurt too much in life, you are walking with that same audacity to remain as you are. And the reason we suffer is because we are really attempting to break the law of vibration. We are refusing to grow. We are refusing to change. At whose expense? You think when you don't change, you're somehow punishing your mother who hurt you? No, you're not. You're the one who suffers mentally because of it. So you see, you have to change, but you are given the tools to change. What tool is that? To renew your mind. Yeah, that's nice, Angela. That's a whole lot of sweet talk you talking in this day, but you still haven't told me how to renew my mind. To renew the mind is to get a new attitude. a new way of seeing yourself, a new level of audacity. We talk about audacity under the word entitlement. Well, maybe if we stopped complaining about how entitled someone believed they were and walked around with the entitlement that you deserve the right to exist and to be prosperous, uh-huh. If we walked with that audacity, that is how you would renew your mind. Because you have to have a new way of thinking. You have to have a new way of saying, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got to say, wait a minute. I set my worth. What is my worth? Your worth is not dependent upon the things outside of you. Remember what scripture tells you to do. Do not put your hope in things that the moth can eat or that the flame can destroy. So your worth is not from tangible things. Your worth has nothing. Oh, don't come for me this morning. Because you see, we are so programmed to calculate our net worth based upon things. You know what they tell you? I think Grant Cardone had a commercial, an infomercial that he said if he lost everything he had today, you could put him in the middle of the hood with nothing and he will rebuild himself. Why? Because he knows his value is not based upon things. You see the evidence of your value by the things you accumulate, your supposed value, I should say. He tells you that. He said he can rebuild himself from nothing. Oh, sure he can. Do you know why? Because of his mindset. That's a word we use a lot, isn't it? Mindset, this, mindset, that. You got to have a new mindset. You got blah, blah, blah. But we don't understand what that means. You are moving from where you are to where you're going. You have one set point, and you're going to move to another point and set yourself there. So wherever you put the mind, aka set it, where are you going to set it? With audacity that you are and you can be whatever? Or will you set it on the audacity that, oh, my mother abandoned me, my father abandoned me, nobody wanted me, thus I must be worthless? Let us put this into perspective of being wanted or unwanted. Do you know why we want something? Because of our whose preference? Your own preference. That's what will make you want something or not want it. Not if that thing is valuable or not valuable. It's based upon you. You say, I might have me a cream soda today. I may have me a coconut water today because I want it. So you think it is valuable to you. I trust this is making sense for you today, because at the end of every phrase, you're going to hear, I wonder who sets that value. Oh, you do. It's funny how when someone tries to impose their value upon you, do you notice what happens? Do you notice how you behave when somebody tries to impose what they think you're worth? Oh, we pull a Greta Thunberg. We say, how dare you? That's what we do. Do you know why we say, how dare you? You know why we say that? Because inside of us, we know we're worth more. But you're scared to assert your worth. When you assert your worth, you're not bulldozing anybody. Oh, heavens no. We call it setting up a boundary. That's what we call it, setting boundaries. So that you say you won't be treated in a particular way. Do you realize if you would have the audacity to assert yourself with a new mindset that says, here is what I am, you know, you won't fall prey to what you are not. Because you're not focused on what you are not. You're not focused on what you are refusing or rejecting. You are simply focused on what you will accept. And as within, so without. So if you are looking at only what you accept, tell me how you're going to have to choose what to reject. You won't, because your focus is only upon the acceptance of what you dictate you are. So you don't have to go finding what to reject. It is automatically rejected. It's like a sieve, you understand, a sifter of flour, separating the wheat from the chaff. The wheat will fall through because it fits. The chaff stays behind naturally because it does not fit. So the focus is not getting the chaff from the wheat. The focus is getting the wheat. So you make the concessions for what you say you are. It's the only way you can live, as within, so without. That's the size of the hole in the sieve. That is your life. That's what I'm telling you today. So you don't put your focus on what you don't want to be, because that's what you will catch. As within, so without. You put the attention wholeheartedly upon your value that you say you are. And that is what you will experience. You don't have a choice. Sorry. You don't get a choice. The moment you set the size of the sieve, well, then everything that, what, doesn't fit the parameter gets stuck. And all the stuff that you say you are filters right into you because you're the one who made the way for it. That's your mindset. And we say mindset so much, it has lost its meaning. But let us revive it today. Mindset comes from the first principle. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. You set that as your parameter. You think you'll be looking outside for things to change? No. You will be showing things how to change by becoming it in your mind's eye, is how you would do it. You think Neville Goddard wrote as many books as he did because he was bored? But he understood humanity. So on this glorious day, you are no longer bound, okay, by train up a child in the way it should go and it will not depart from it. You're not bound by that anymore. You've been set free of it. Why? So that you can renew the mind. Be transformed. You know what it is to be transformed? Transformers, more than meets the eye. Dun, 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 dun. Transformers, right? But they change. But what do they change into? Remember how Bumblebee in the old style Camaro was driving down the road and she was like, oh my God, he's so, whatever he is, he can't make himself be better. What did he have to do? He got a new image. Oh, he got a new image. And what did he do? Well, as within, so without. It was what he now was able to transform into because he changed his image. He scanned, and this is what we do. He scanned, he saw the other Camaro. Oh, and he was saying, oh, hello. And he said, I'm going to be that. And he scanned it. Well, that's what we do. We scan for a new attitude, a new way of thinking, do we not? And when we see the one we want, we do what with it? Assimilate it, embody it. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, let that sink in for a moment. So that's what he did. He was transformed. He changed. We have to transform. We have to change because we cannot remain the same. But Angela, how come I've been living this way for 20 years? Because you refuse. And because you refuse and you're attempting to break the law because you do not know that it is there, you end up suffering needlessly. You don't need to suffer. You need to get a new mental attitude. So pretend today, or I don't even like to say the word pretend because I don't want you to pretend. I want you to be authentic. So today you are Bumblebee. Shoot, you could be the new Optimus too if you want to. And you are driving down this world called life, and you see a new attitude that you want to become. Scan it. What do I mean by scan it? Mull it over, taste it. Is that what you want? Yeah, that's the new one I want. Well, how does it look? How does it move? How does it feel? That's what you say you want to be? Okay, then scan it. Say, scanning. Scanning. New model activated. Yeah. Okay, good. New attitude activated. When you activate your new attitude, how does it make you feel? Oh, yes. See, that's step two, because step one is to get the new attitude. And what new attitude is that? Who do you say you want to become? You want to be a newer model, a newer version of you? Yeah. You want to upgrade? Let me upgrade you. Sorry. You want to upgrade? What do you want to upgrade into? When you see it in your mind's eye, you say, oh, yes, I want to upgrade to that attitude. Because if I upgrade to that attitude, this is how I will be treated. This is how I will behave. This is how I will prosper. That's my new attitude. And you begin to walk down the road of life with it. And as within, so without. Now here's step three. Step three is the full immersion of yourself in the feeling that step two created for you. You see, step two happens naturally, right? Mm-hmm. So this is how it is. This is how it is. Step one, what do you want to become? You don't want to be that old beat up Camaro anymore. You want to be the new Fandango Camaro. Ooh, with the racing stripes. You know it. It is a sexy looking car. It sure is. But I like the way the Porsche, the back end of the Porsche is wide and the tires are wide and it sits up. It's like it hugs the ground because of its weight, you know? I like it. Anyway, I'm a car enthusiast. Leave me alone. But I'm giving you that analogy because you have to see what you want to become. But you don't just see it. When you see what you want to become, you say, that's it. That's what I want to become. Now, do you believe that? So why else would you choose it if you didn't believe that it was possible? That's what I'm getting at. So this whole new worth and value now. Let's go back to the very beginning. This whole new worth and value. You say, this is my worth now. This is who I want to be. This is what I want to be worth. And step two just happens naturally. Or you begin to feel how it feels. You say, ooh, what would it be like if I walked in that value? Mm. And it makes you feel a particular way. It gives you a rush of, yeah, that's the feeling for me. That's what I want. And step three now naturally, why? Because it feels good to you. And the thing that feels good to you, we like to stay there naturally. Time flies when you're having fun, right? That's the song we grew up on in the Caribbean. You're having such a good time. They tell you you don't got to go home, but you got to get the heck on up out of here because you don't want the good time to end. So you see, naturally, we immerse ourselves in the feeling of the fulfillment of who we say we want to become. Naturally, we do it. Oh, but Angela, what if I doubt it? There's no need to doubt. You've already been walking in the audacity of what you presently think you are worth, and you don't doubt that. You just didn't know that's what you were doing. So whether you know what you're doing, you're going to do it anyway because it is the principle. As within, so without. So you don't have to believe it. You have to observe what you're doing. And you will see that you've already been doing it. You already have been walking through this world with an attitude of, am I good enough? Allegedly, my head is smaller, so my brain is smaller, so apparently I am not smart. We've been walking around with those things, limping through life with those things. And we see the evidence of those things because as within, so without. So you are already doing it. What do you need to believe for? Oh, I'm not talking to you today. Not with that phrase. I'm talking to me. So what are you going to do today? Hmm? Are you going to declare? Remember, you don't have to speak it to have it be true. You don't have to speak it because it is not the words that mean a single thing. You can say what you want. Say what you want. It doesn't move me, right? You can say whatever you want. It is the intensity of what you believe that will make you speak, thereby giving the words power. This is where superstition comes from. When you believe in the thing. It could be the most absurd thing. If I dance naked in the moonlight, dot, 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 and you go out and you dance naked in the moonlight, and it happens. Is it because you danced naked in the moonlight? No, you believed that if you did. So you see, you will do what you believe to be true. As within, so without. And you are already doing it. That's why we struggle with, I'm not worthy. That's why we struggle with it, because we believe we're not worthy, individually and collectively. Oh, so today, step one, I am worthy. But those are just words. To say I am worthy is just words. It is the attitude of worth. What does something valuable, how is something that is valuable treated? It is put on a pedestal. It is dusted all the time. It is polished. It is admired. It is appreciated. Oh, that's what determines worth. That, not worthy itself, but the attributes of worth. So if you want to be worthy, what does it look like? Respect? Does it not? All of the things it looks like. And all those things, because worthy is just a word. Worthy is just a word. What does it imply, though? What does it signify? What are the attributes of worthiness? That is what you start off with. I am worthy. What are those attributes? And you list those attributes. You focus whatever things are good, true, honest, of good report. Think on these things. So the attributes of worth, respect, appreciation, Oh, yes. I'm appreciated. Oh, hello. What does it mean to be appreciated? What's it feel like to be appreciated? And you begin to feel that in your bosom. Because when you get the sense of appreciation, when you get the feeling of appreciation, you naturally will appreciate yourself. Well, why? Because you can feel the feeling of appreciation. So you see how step two just emerged? You can feel the feeling of appreciation. And then step three, look at that. Naturally, you immerse yourself in what it feels like to be appreciated because you've got appreciation coursing through your veins. Every time your heart beats, pump, pump, you pump appreciation through your whole form. And you know something beautiful happens, right? From there, as within, so without. So you had to become appreciation itself. And you were so lost in emotion. You were so lost in that feeling of appreciation that the first thing you have the audacity to say is, oh my God, what a coincidence. They appreciate me. I was just thinking about appreciation. I felt appreciated and oh, they came along and appreciated me. What a coincidence. What is a coincidence? The external experience that matches your internal what? Your internal attitude. So you see today, are you worthy? You would have to tell me. You would have to examine yourself and see what you have thought of yourself, worthy or unworthy. But either way, you are living it out. Why? Because as within, so without. We on Sister Act today. Woo! Anyhow, my beautiful friends, let me take a moment to welcome everyone because you know, I could go on, but I won't. I think you get the point today. I think you get the point. As you move through the world, you say, ooh, what do I want to become? Oh, feels good, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I'm gonna just lose myself in this feeling. And then bam, before I know it, I didn't even spend any time thinking about when, why, how long is it gonna take? No. Because you're not thinking that the harvest is coming. You are living the harvest. So you're not waiting to be worthy. You have harvested worthy. Hmm? Hmm? It's just an observation, right, Kizzy? Miss McQueen, Oracle Treehouse, Flo Smiles, ow. Lesigo was here on Twitter with us. Bewee, Cyber. I'm not going to say your name other than this way. I see. Right? Yeah, exactly. And Hoitatron, is that how I say the name? And Wisdom Almighty. See, because we are on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. You see, and that right there, Bewee. Which lecture, Bewee? Which Neville Goddard lecture? Because he's saying that lecture has helped greatly with fear of imagination. You cannot, and here's the thing, fear of imagination is fearing who you are. That's like being afraid of your shadow. It's like being afraid of your shadow. But when you realize, here's the light of understanding. Uh, the light of understanding tells you you will cast a shadow. You have to cast a shadow. Your shadow is you. And now that you know your shadow is you, you don't fear. Why not? Because there's nothing chasing you. It is you casting your own reflection. So you see, when you begin to comprehend As within, so without. As you are, that's the shadow you cast into the world. So you see, again, how you have nothing to fear. Whew, Angela. Mm. Say it again, Angela, because I think I missed it. You have nothing to fear, right? Yes. What we are, you're right, Biwi. These seeds, every time I get up and I share with you, these are seeds that are being planted. Hmm. I love you, all of you. You're absolutely amazing. You truly are. Oh, the clouds came back and now the stars are gone again. Hmm. Phooey. I was looking up at the stars this morning because they were beautiful. And then bam, here come the clouds. Ugh. But that's okay. They have their purpose. When the clouds come in, it is warmer. Oh, yes. Hmm? So you don't grudge the clouds. They bring the warmth. They do. Hmm. Sorry. I had to yawn. But I trust today that it makes sense. Step one, who do you want to become? Step two, rehearse in imagination what you would experience in reality from step one. And you said, ooh, I am that. Yes, indeed, I am. And lose yourself. How many times a day can you lose yourself or immerse yourself in that step two, the feeling of it? How many times a day can you do it? And for how long? Can you do it 30 times a day for 3 seconds each? Can you do it? Well, you think it needs to be a long time? Nah, it is. It is the frequency that determines when something is natural to you. Frequency, yes, how many times you do it is what makes something become natural to you. And when this new attitude is natural to you, well, then bam, you know how you know it's natural? Because it's been set down in your neurological pathway, scientifically speaking. That's what happens in your brain. When something becomes natural to you, you have set down a neurological pathway that you will follow now, which means the external will match the internal. Anywho, I trust it makes sense. You know, you can always slide into my DMs if you have questions. Not because I know anything, but the principles are what they are. The principles will whew, teach you many things. And that's what I love about them. They teach you, you know? So every time you get around the principles, every time you apply the principles, you learn, you grow. You cannot help yourself because you must. You must grow, you must expand. And so every time you apply the principles, you become new, you transform. Oh, you are transformed by the renewing of your mind because it is the only thing to be renewed, you know. Anyhow, let me get the daytime chime. And as you hear the chime this glorious day, what do you want to become? Step one. Step two, rehearse in imagination what you would be doing in reality to show you that you did become it. That's what you do. And it's going to feel good. It's going to feel real good. And you get so caught up in that good feeling, you lose all sense of time. And you have, this is why Neville Goddard says, you see that rehearsal part in step two? He says to make it pleasurable. Why? Why make it pleasurable? Because when you are doing something that is pleasurable, you don't want to stop. You want to do it some more and do it some more and do it some more, don't you? Of course you do. We all do it. That's why do you think people chase the high? Because it damn well feels good. You see what we're programmed to be? That's the design of the principle. But because we don't know how to use it, we misuse it. We seek an artificial high that will wear off. And then you got to do it again. But if we go with the high that comes from applying the principles, well, you move from glory to glory. There's no crash in there. It is a constant, and it's a beautiful expansion. Why? Because it leaves one satisfied. It doesn't leave you hungry and longing for more. That would be external things that we try to use because we don't know that it is us who internally become what it is we say we are. That's why we do it. That's why we keep seeking things and always being unrequited. It is unnatural for us to be unrequited. We are meant to be satisfied. You doubt me, do you? Okay. There's a subreddit on Reddit called Oddly Satisfying. You watch people do things and you're like, wow. And you just get satisfaction just by watching them because satisfaction is our actual natural state. Think about how two of those things feel to continually long and pine and moan and want. Is life draining. But to be satisfied is life giving. Look, let me go get this chime because. Hmm. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I will see you tonight if you want to fall asleep with us, because tonight's lecture by Neville Goddard would be Answered Prayer. Oh, you know you want to be there for that one at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Fanbase. Oh, indeed. So I'll see you tonight if you want to fall asleep with us. So go forth into the world and, man, know thyself. That's what my daddy always said to me. He still does. Man, know thyself. Know thyself. Thyself. Mm. I love you, and I'll see you tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love to each and every one of you.